Like, to me, that's like real contender for best in show for PlayStation this year.
Yeah.
It looked like the graphics were so clean, so crisp, and the combat, like, I was literally relieved to see that it looked like God of War. It's hack and slash, but with, you know, some like cadence and beat to it.
Yeah. It wasn't just like, button smash entirely the entire game, and then it's like some weird combat.
It looks super
fluid,
super epic, and it looked like Kratos was like killing like a White Walker from Game of Thrones at one point, which is cool. Shout out to the White Walkers. Overall, I thought it was great. You know, Monster Hunter, again, not my cup of tea, but I'm sure that's going to make a lot of people excited. That's a huge title in Japan.
Oh, that's what I think. Okay,
huge title.
When you said it, I was like, I don't even know what this game is.
And it's what really made the PSP popular. Okay. It was a huge PSP game. It's been a huge mobile game in Japan for a while, and then to see this ultra stylized and beautiful version of it coming to PlayStation 4, I think that's really awesome. You know, I have to get my hats off to Sony that they didn't really spend a lot of the time like comparing their system to the Xbox One X. Yeah. I think there's probably like a tendency for them to want to do that, where they're going to come out and say, here are all the reasons why you don't need the Xbox One X.
And this is why you need the
PS4 Pro, right? But they didn't do that, and they didn't have plastered over every game that they were showing on screen running on a PS4 Pro or anything like that, right?
I don't think they need to.
They don't need to. I mean,
they're honestly... Until we see a game on the One X, you know, until we actually get our hands on the One X and play it, they don't really have to. They don't have to slam it home that the PS4 Pro is the better console at the moment. You know, before that comes out.
Yep, I totally agree. So, what other games to you stood out as So, if we had to like put a couple on the table right now that you and I are considering for best in show for PlayStation, I think we'd say Spider-Man, right?
For sure.
God of War,
yes,
is up there. Are there other ones that jumped out to you that you think merit a place on there?
Even though the monster one, like even though I've never played that game, it looks beautiful, and I keep forgetting the Colossus thing again. I would put Colossus.
Shadow of the Colossus.
Shadow of the Colossus.
I'm going to write it on your arm.
Or my forehead.
Yeah. Yep. As in terms of a surprise, I think that was a huge thing. And we did see a little bit of gameplay for it, which is great. I'm interested to see if that game is like the same controls and like just a reskin, or if it's going to be a whole new experience, kind of like Resident Evil was back in the day when they remade that for GameCube and stuff.
That'd be nice if it actually was like an entire different experience and maybe some new like levels inside the game itself.
I remember playing that game, and the only thing I remember the controls being like super clunky.
Yeah.
I didn't play it until PlayStation 3 in like a backwards compatible version of it, and it was great, and I really enjoyed it. But I remember the controls being clunky, and I remember hearing just a general sentiment from people that the controls were. So hopefully that's something they'll address in a remake. I think it has to come down. I mean, Uncharted looks great, but I have a hard time giving Uncharted the nod just because I've already played Uncharted 4. It is great. It's amazing. And this is just a continuation of that experience. So, you know, to me, I don't know
a lot about the Legacy Edition, you know? I don't know.
You play as two supporting characters. They're supporting characters in the main Uncharted series, and you play as them for just a DLC story mode. But it's like going to be 10 hours, which is pretty awesome.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's not just like one of those like 1 hour DLC add-ons. Yeah. It's going to be like a $30-$40 game, and it's going to be pretty legit. So, you know, it's really probably between God of War and Spider-Man. So, like, let's put those against each other, and let's talk about what we think deserves the crown. So, both of them are Sony exclusives. I think that's a huge win for Sony to get Spider-Man as an exclusive, but they own the property Spider-Man, the theatrical version. So, I'm sure that there's some back office business that's going on that like allows that to be an exclusive for PlayStation, you know, so maybe not super surprising that that's their title, but anyways, that's their title. Looks beautiful, looks like a PS4 pusher, man, big time.
I just think there's conditions involved with Spider-Man still.
Yeah, a lot of unknowns.
Yeah, a lot of unknowns, but you know what you're getting with God of War, but like since Spider-Man's coming out, you've known what you played in the past, and you're like at least me, I wasn't so happy with being trying to be Spider-Man, but you really can't. You can't really explore around the city that much, and you couldn't like really go for it like in the Arkham series, like you said before.
Well, do you remember Spider-Man 2? Did you ever play that game?
See, like I tried to jump into Spider-Man, like I said before, but it was very like limited. Like to me, at least, was I don't want to fight the same character in the movie. You know, even though it didn't follow the movie exactly, it's just the release of the movie, and it's like the movie looks so great at the time, and then you play the game, you're like, oh, this isn't that great compared to the movie, and in a way. So like to me, I couldn't get really in depth into the game, but I'm hoping like it's like to me it's like a Grand Theft Auto type of game, an open world,
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all if like throughout that game, you're swinging around New York City and you swing by somebody and someone's like, "God, they stole my purse," and then you had to go like chase that person down. I mean, that'd be dope.
Totally cool.
Yeah,
or even you could be Peter Parker.
Yeah, sure.
That would be really cool. Like, and you had to you heard something going on, so you had to hurry up and go change into Spider-Man and then go.
That would be sweet.
That would be sweet.
If you had to go run and do like a stealth mission as Peter Parker or something, and like
and capture like a scene that's happening, and then switch into Spider-Man and set up your camera and stuff like that. That would be sick.
That would be pretty cool.
Because you would be Spider-Man at that point.
Yeah, you'd feel that you'd feel that amazing like feeling of changing into your costume, like, all right, now it's time to gear up.
Yeah,
you
so
go out and play Spider-Man.
So if it's like that, then Spider-Man takes the cake. It takes the cake for me.
But again, it's unknown. So how do you reconcile that against a game like God of War that just looks
amazing,
so good, and it looks like what they did, and what I'm really excited for about God of War is that they've added like some ethos to Kratos.
Oh yeah.
I'm starting to rap over here. Some ethos to Kratos. Yeah. Didn't have any other things that rhymed with that, so I'm glad we stopped there. But the fact that now he has a son, and it seems like he's not proud of his son, or like his son feels like Kratos isn't proud of him because he's not like him. He's not a god, or whatever it might be.
Do you think it's well? It could be this. What if he's more afraid that he is his son because he knows that he isn't as powerful as him, so anything could happen to his son?
Sure.
Maybe it's more of that, rather than him being disappointed with him. Maybe he's just like, ultimately, like, I don't know what I can do to actually save him if something happens, and I'm more worried about losing him more than anything.
Yeah, I mean, either way, whether that's, it's that or something different, we have enough to go on to know that that's an interesting story that I want more of. Like, I love
it's
that
almost
he
like
has
The Last of Us, if you think about it.
Yeah. But just like you and I talking back and forth right now about where the story could go with him and his son is enough to know that like the pieces are there to potentially have like an amazing, emotional, beautiful game, right?
And it's open-ended at the moment,
yeah.
Because to me, there's so much expectation with Spider-Man, and like you don't know what's going to go on with Spider-Man, but then with this added twist to actually God of War, you know that like there's so many avenues that they can go down, and how good the game was prior to this game.
Yep.
And how many games they've released in the series that have been good. And like met up to the standard of God of War, and so you know that they're going to carry this one through, and it's going to be great.
Yep.
But you don't know where they're going to go with it, so that's the mystery side of it. And it's like that's what makes me super excited about that game more so now after talking about that than actually Spider-Man, because they're both incredible games, but just because of God of War's title and the past experience I've had with that game, and now with this twist with God of War, it makes me more excited about it.
So are we ready to say it?
I'm going to say it. Yeah, God of War.
I think we're in agreement.
Yeah.
I think God of War, ladies and gentlemen, the official PlayStation Best in Show game for the Hold On to Your Butts podcast for E3 2017 is God of War. So we can't wait for that. It's coming early 2018. That is our official winner for the PlayStation Best in Show.
God, how beautiful does COD look though?
Yeah, we're looking at COD.
But it's like it has to be definitely. That's not in game. That's totally not in game.
Yeah, I think we're seeing parts that are in game
though?
here for sure, man. Yeah, everything. It said at the beginning, everything's running in game. That's in game right there.
Okay.
This is just the multiplayer that we're seeing on this too. By the way, I saw like this isn't the campaign. We're just seeing multiplayer matches.
I hope this is in game.
This is in game. Don't worry. This is
dude. I hope you actually get your legs blown off if there's a grenade that goes off.
Yeah, man. I've always wanted to get my legs blown
No, I'm just saying,
off.
like,
kidding,
you know what I'm saying? Like, when you, like, blow something up in Battlefield, the building, there's a giant hole in the building starts to collapse. If they add that level to Call of Duty and still keep it at 60 frames, that game's going to even be better.
Oh, it's going to be unreal. And it's great to see, like, getting away from, like, the futuristic tech. As much fun as that is, there's plenty of other games out there that do that really well, like Halo and, Killzone, a bunch of other awesome games. Let those series handle it. Get back to your roots.
I think there's such a separation, though, because it's like there's... In our natural reality, there's nothing that's like that at the moment.
Yeah.
And they're trying to place you in this reality. But, like, if you think about it, Halo is not, like, Earth now or Earth in 10 or 20 years. It's Earth way far out in the future, and you can actually have a perception of, like, this could happen. But, like, when you try to play COD, they try to tiptoe and play too close to a reality that we have now,
Yep.
and nothing exists that is remotely close to anything that's the previous cuts that came out.
So overall, 1 to 5, what would you give the PlayStation press conference for E3 2017?
1 to 5. I would probably give it a 3.5.
3.5?
Yeah.
I'm going to say a 3, so I'm close to you. But again, it was the same press conference as last year. We just got more gameplay of the games that were announced last year.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of which is, I guess, a good thing because we know we're going to get new games next year, if you think about it in that way.
Yeah. You can even see, like, just the fans after the COD happens. They're, like, super pumped for that. And then it's, like, flatline the rest of the press conference. So, like,
because then they go right into VR.
Yeah, everyone's like, what in the hell?
Jesus. So there you guys have it. That's our reaction to the E3 2017 Sony press conference. Make sure to check out our reactions to the Microsoft conference and the Nintendo conference, all live now. However you get your podcast, whether that's on iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, SoundCloud, and more. You can reach out to us at Geeks, that's GEEKS, at HOTYB.co.
Yeah.
If you'd like to give us some of your reactions to the Sony press conference, what are the games that you saw that you're most excited to see, some of your concerns with the press conference, and just overall, how are you enjoying E3 this year? What would you like to see from us moving forward in terms of how you want our show to be structured? We do this for you guys, so let us know how we're doing and what we can do better. Again, it's been our pleasure.
It has.
And make sure to tune in every single week for a fresh episode from the Hold On To Your Butts crew. What's a good outro for a PlayStation show?
What is a good outro?
God of Butts.
Yeah.